Hey YouTube, it's Aaron here again with another video. And I have a surprise for you guys. A MacDev. At this point, I kind of feel that I'm finished with the Titman A5 upgrade series. So I'm kind of moving on to something a little different today. So this gun here is a MacDev Droid. MacDev Droids are, they were really good top end marker, released back in 2007, 2008, by MacDev, obviously. It was a release that gave that company their first spoolie. So before that, I think they were just selling the Sonic series and Sonic Cyborg and then the Cyborg. They were all poppet based markers, so they came out with a spool valve, which is the droid, to kind of offer both sides. So here we go. I'll pull this out and let me show you. Like this gun, this is going to be a restoration video. When I first saw this marker, it's in very sad shape, but I think that's going to be our challenge this video, is to see if we could take this marker. Oh, she is absolutely terrible. Set that off the side. So let me show you here what I'm working with. Okay, so this is the droid that I had picked up, and well, she's missing a whole lot of pieces. I think what we're going to do now is we're just going to kind of take a look to see what we're missing here. I can tell you right off the bat, it's missing quite a bit. So, and these aren't even the right trigger frame screws for this, but they are just there to hold the trigger frame in place, I suppose. So let's just take these out and take a look and see what we really got to work with here. Oh, come on. There we go. Oh, okay, so this droid has no subplate manifold, no solenoid. Has a drivetrain in there, so at least it has that. Ooh, okay, so electronics wise, looks like we've got a battery harness and a board. No eyes. Yeah, that's the other thing. So there's no eyes. Yeah, and looks like our friend here liked CP so much that he's got a nice little CP on-off ASA there. Actually, looks quite similar to the ones we used in our last series for the A5, right? And obviously a stupid, weird-looking CP rag. That is so old school. I think I've seen these before, but I know nothing about them. I've never used the CP rag. But very similar to the stock MacDev Gladiator reg that came with these guns. So it's kind of like you adjust your velocity through the side here into this hole with an Allen wrench, and the line goes out to the bottom. So very standard, but obviously the pink ain't cutting it. And last but not least, these grips. These stupid grips. We're going to get rid of these, okay? So throughout the video, like I said, we're going to be completely restoring this gun back to its original shape from factory. We may even get to add a couple of extra deets along the way, you know, but a couple surprises here and there. But first off, we just got to get on getting this subplate because otherwise, without the subplate, this project is practically useless and cannot be done, and would just be a waste of time buying the parts to do anything. So I like how this droid is practically stripped right down to bare metal. So this is going to be a really nice looking droid when we're done here. So the other problem with this is it didn't come with a MacDev two-piece matchstick, okay, but instead it did come with a 685 Furious barrel autococker two-piece. So obviously, once again, matches the look of the gun right down to bare metal. So this guy looks like he's done a lot of sanding. Yeah. So yeah, I see what this guy was doing. But as for that matchstick barrel, that's a shame. But man, polish this baby up, and we'll get her back up and going again. So this is going to be the challenge. So now, can we make or restore a MacDev droid, a 2007 droid at that, in 2022 or 2023? Is it possible to be able to do a restoration with lack of parts thereof and yeah, parts availability? That's what it's always going to boil down to, right? So I guess first thing, look for the subplate. We'll get the subplate if we can find, because I've been looking for years to find a subplate, and I have honestly yet to find one. And I was told, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, the only way you were finding a subplate for a droid is if you bought another droid and stripped it for its parts and used it as a parts gun. So, and I honestly couldn't justify spending $500-600 on another gun just to strip it for parts. So all I've been doing is scouring the internet for years, and or at least for the last few anyways. I kind of gave up 2 years ago looking for subplates for people and their droids. I don't know why people go through subplates like crazy through these guns, but they're a rare thing and a rare gem to have these days. So let's crack on to looking up and finding that subplate. So right now I'm just checking on eBay to see if I can actually find a subplate for a droid. These things are really hard to find these days. I'd be surprised if one even came up here. And wouldn't you know it, what are the odds of that? What are the odds of that? Found it. MacDev Droid subplate. You know how long I've been trying to find a subplate for these guns? Like, man, I've known countless people over the years that have had these guns and needed a new subplate, and they were absolutely impossible to find. I can't believe I just came up with one here on eBay. That's unbelievable. This is probably the very last subplate on the planet. So I'm going to text this guy, because apparently here it does not ship to Canada, unfortunately. But I'm gonna text him up and see what he says about that. It's exciting. I can't believe it. He says he's willing to ship it to Canada for $15 if I'm willing to pay for it. And absolutely I am willing to pay for that, because, man, I can't believe it. A fucking droid subplate. Oh, man. Absolutely resurrecting a gun from the dead here. Like, this is pulling a gun out of the graveyard for sure. If I end up landing this subplate, this will be an absolute success for a restoration project. on the almighty MacDev Droid. Okay, so the order is officially in for the Droid manifold. So once again, about time we actually got to get our hands on one and be able to finally restore this this droid. This one deserves a well-deserved restoration. So now that we've got the sub plate on its way, it should be here the 6th of January. So today is the 20th, I believe. So we should have that by the 6th. So yeah, in the meantime, we could just get to work on the body and polish that beast up and get it ready for everything else that's going to be happening. And we'll also have to jump on MacDev's website to scout some other parts that we're going to be needing for the rebuild. So stay tuned. Subplate has finally arrived. So a couple weeks ago I managed to outsource a barrel outside of MacDev. They don't make these barrels anymore, so I ended up finding one on eBay. It's a two-tone black and looks like it's bare aluminum color. So it's going to work well with this gun. It's going to be perfect. It is a matchstick barrel, so even better. That's exactly what these droids were released with, was the matchsticks. This is a 689 barrel. Very, very nice shape, very, very good condition, to say the least. And honestly, we are rocking and rolling. Right now, we're just going to discuss the reg. The CP reg that came with it, the pink one, is coming off, and we're obviously not going to continue with that. Luckily, 10 years ago, I had a droid, and I kept some of the parts. So here's the reg that I just dug out of my storage room. Getting back to that two-tone black and aluminum color, this is going to really work out. It's going to look really, really nice. At best, I'm going to have to just send in the eye covers and maybe the back cap, get that anodized black to match the rest of the gun. Other than that, let's get her going. Scan out some parts that we're going to need for our build. Pretty well have them all here. That includes a solenoid, eye set, some screws for the grip frame, and a trigger pin and bearing set for the trigger. They're not very, very small things, so be roughly about $210.95 US, and that's including shipping to Canada. So yeah. So now that we got all the parts ordered up from the website, we got the 4 main things that we need to complete the build. That's the solenoid, the eyes, like I said, the screws to mount the grip frame to the body, and I'm picking up an optional trigger pin and bearing set for the trigger, you know, just to have that on hand. So stay tuned for the rebuilds.